A poor village girl marries into a wealthy family with one goal: steal their riches and escape. But when secrets unravel and power games begin, she realizes she's not the only one playing dirty. Sit back and enjoy a thrilling tale of love, lies, and the woman who turned the whole village upside down. The sun was hot that day. In Umoko village, when Adais arrived, her feet were dusty, but her eyes were sharp. She wore a yellow wrapper and carried only a small bag. Nobody knew where she came from. The women at the market whispered, "Who is she? Why is she alone?" Adais smiled at everyone, but didn't say much. She went to Mama Ejiro's food stall and asked for a plate of rice. "I will pay when I find work," she said gently. Mama Ejiro looked at her and said, "Okay, eat first, then we'll talk." That night, Adais stayed at the back of Mama Ejiro's shop. She slept on a mat, thinking she was not just any girl. She had come with a plan. In just 1 week, Adais became known in the village. She helped women wash clothes, swept the church, and carried water from the stream. Everyone liked her, but they didn't know she was watching and listening. She wanted to know everything. Most of all, she wanted to know about Chief Ozoemena. Chief Ozoemena was the richest man in Umoko. He had 3 cars, a big house, and plenty of land. He had one son, Obina, who was handsome but proud. Adais heard he was looking for a wife. That night, under the mango tree, Adais made up her mind. She would marry Obina. Adais started going to church more often. She wore her best dress and always sat where Obina could see her. She smiled shyly when he looked her way. The other girls noticed and hissed behind her back. But Adais didn't care. She was playing a game and she planned to win. One day after service, Obina came to her. "You sing well," he said. Adais blushed. "Thank you," she replied, and that was how it began. Obina started visiting her at Mama Ejiro's shop. He brought meat pies and drinks. He talked about the city, about money, and how he didn't trust people. Adais listened carefully. She always smiled, never talked too much. She wanted him to feel smart. Soon, Obina asked her to be his wife. The whole village buzzed with gossip. "That girl? The one with no family?" some asked. But Chief Ozomena didn't mind. He saw how Obina laughed again, how he stayed home more. "If she makes my son happy, then let them marry," he said. The wedding was big. Music played all day. The women danced. Adais wore a red wrapper and gold beads. She looked beautiful, but inside, she was calm. She had reached the first step of her plan. At night, she looked at her new home. It was big, clean, and filled with secrets. She smiled to herself. "I will take it all," she whispered. Adais acted like the perfect wife. She cooked, cleaned, and always respected Chief and his son. But at night, she searched the house. She found where the keys were kept, where the money was hidden, where the chief wrote down all his business deals. She started writing everything down in a small book she hid under her bed. "One day, I will use this," she told herself. But one night, she heard something strange, voices, low and angry. She tiptoed to the door and listened. Chief was talking to Obina. "You think she's just a village girl?" Chief asked. "No, she's too smart. We must be careful." Adase froze. Her heart pounded. What did they mean? She knew then. They were watching her too. Adase didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, thinking. What did they know? Were they testing her? Or were they planning something? She couldn't show fear. The next morning she smiled and served breakfast like nothing happened, but her eyes stayed sharp. She began watching them too. Chief always locked one drawer in his study. Obidna sometimes left at night and didn't return till dawn. Something was wrong. One afternoon, Adase followed Obina. She wore a scarf and stayed far behind. He went deep into the forest, where an old hut stood. She saw him give a bag to a man who counted something inside. Money. Adase hid behind a tree. They are hiding something. But what? She whispered. The next day, she opened the drawer with a hairpin. Inside were papers, land deeds, business deals, And something else, a list of names. Names of people in the village. She copied everything quickly and closed the drawer. That night, she cried quietly. I thought I was the only one playing a game, but they are worse. Now she had a choice: run or keep playing. She stayed. Her days became colder. She watched everyone, the maids, the visitors, even the pastor. She found out things: who owed money, who cheated who. She kept all of it in her book. She started controlling Obina. A sweet word, a soft touch, and he did whatever she said. "Let's buy that land," she'd say. He would agree. She was taking over slowly, but she knew she needed help. Quietly, she made friends with Muna, a shy girl who worked in the kitchen. "Come," Adeza said, "let me teach you things." Muna became her eyes and ears. She heard whispers, followed people, and brought back news. Together, they built a map of secrets. Then something terrible happened. One night, Chief collapsed. "Poison," the doctor said. Everyone looked at Adaeze. "She must have done it," someone shouted. Obinna didn't speak. He just stared at her. Adaeze's hands shook. "I didn't do anything," she said. But she was lying. She had planned to poison Chief, just a little, just to make him weak. But someone had changed the plan. Someone wanted Chief dead. Adaeze sat on the edge of the bed, her eyes wide. The room felt too quiet, too heavy. Obinna stood by the window, his back turned. "You didn't even cry," he said without looking at her. Adaz wanted to speak, but her throat was dry. She didn't know what to say. Was this part of their plan, or had someone tricked her? "I didn't mean for him to die," she whispered. Obinna turned slowly. His face was calm, but his eyes were dark. "I believe you," he said softly, "but others don't. They will come for you." He walked out of the room, leaving her alone. That night, Adaeze couldn't sleep. She kept thinking of the poison. She had mixed it herself, just a little, something to make Chief stay in bed so she could go through his things more easily, but someone else had added more. Who and why? The next morning, the compound was full of noise. Women cried fake tears. Men came to pay respects. The Chief's brothers from the next village arrived. They didn't like Adaeze. "She is a stranger," one of them said. "She has no family. Why should she stay here?" Adaeze sat still, wearing white lace, the widow's cloth. Her eyes were dry. She wasn't going anywhere. At night, Muna came to her in secret. "Madame," she whispered, "I heard something." It was Uncle Uche. He paid the cook to add more poison. Adaeze's heart jumped. Uncle Uche, Chief's younger brother. He had always wanted to take over the land and businesses. "He wants to blame you," Muna said. "He said once you're gone, everything will be easy." Adaeze gritted her teeth. "They want war," she said. "Let them get it." The next day, she dressed in fine lace and walked into the sitting room where the elders had gathered. Everyone stopped talking. "I will not be chased out," she said clearly. "I was his wife. I know everything about this house. If anyone tries me, they will fall." The room went silent. Uncle Uche laughed. "You're just a girl. What do you know?" Adaeze smiled. "I know you were in Aba 2 nights before Chief died. I know you borrowed money from his account. I know the cook got a large payment the night before he died. I also know about the illegal farm at Obaku." People gasped. Uncle Uche's face turned red. "How do you know all this?" he asked, shaking. Adaeze leaned forward. "I see everything, and I write it down." From that day, nobody tried to chase her out again. But things got worse. Obinna started changing. He drank more, he shouted at the workers. He stayed out all night. Adaeze didn't understand. Was he grieving or hiding something? One night, he didn't come home at all. The next morning, she found his phone ringing under the bed. The name on the screen said, Ngozi. She picked up. "Obinna?" the voice said. It was a woman. "You didn't come last night. Are you okay?" Adaeze froze. "Who is this?" she asked. The woman hung up. Adaeze sat down slowly. So Obinna was cheating. She wasn't surprised. She was just angry he thought he could fool her. She called Muna. Follow him. I want to know everything. That evening, Muna returned with news. He's been going to Ngozi's place. She's a banker. They're planning to run away. I heard them say they'll leave once the chief's will is read. Adaze laughed coldly. So that's his plan. He wants to take the money and disappear. She went to her room and opened the secret drawer. A little book was there filled with secrets. She started writing again. Obinna wants to run, she wrote. He thinks I am blind, but I see him. 2 days later, the lawyer came to read the will. The sitting room was full. Everyone sat in silence. Chief Ozoemena had left everything to Obinna. But there was a letter, a handwritten note attached to the will. To my son and his wife, it said, you think I don't know you're both playing games, but remember, the greedy one will lose everything in the end. Obinna's face changed. Adaze smiled softly. Later that night, Obinna came to her. You win, he said. You always knew how to play this better than me. Adaze looked at him. You haven't seen anything yet. She packed her bag the next morning, but she didn't leave. She went into town and opened a new bank account. She started moving money, small, slow, careful. She bought land in her own name. She started talking to lawyers. She called a journalist from Lagos and told her a story about corruption, land theft, secret money deals. The journalist agreed to come. Adaze was building her own empire. One night, someone tried to break into her room, but Muna was watching. She hit the man with a stick and shouted. The whole house woke up. It was one of Uncle Uchi's boys. The police came and arrested him. From then on, everyone feared Adaze. They called her the Silent Lion. But Adaze knew the war wasn't over, because Obinna was still planning, and Ngozi was still waiting. So Adaze planned too. She asked Muna to write fake letters and leave them where Obinna would find them. The letters looked like they were from Ngozi, asking about the money. Soon, Obinna became suspicious of Ngozi. They started fighting. Adaze watched quietly as the house of lies began to fall. She wasn't done yet. She had one more move to make. She needed to expose them all, and she would do it in front of the whole village. The village square was full. Everyone had gathered. They came because they heard Chief Ozoemena's wife, Adaze, was calling a meeting. No one knew why. Some came out of fear, others came out of curiosity. She stood on the raised platform in front of the village hall. She wore a white wrapper and gold earrings that shone in the sun. Her face was calm, but her voice was firm. Good people of Umoko, she began, you welcomed me when I had nothing. You gave me food, work, and peace. But inside this very house, there was no peace. People whispered. Eyes looked around. I have come to tell the truth, Adaze said. Not just for myself, but for every woman who was told to stay silent. She brought out a small brown book. In this book, I wrote everything, every lie, every secret, every plan. She opened the book and read out names. The crowd gasped. Obinna, my husband, you wanted to run away with another woman and steal your father's money. Murmurs filled the air. And Ngozi, the banker from town, you helped them hide the money in fake accounts. From the back, someone shouted, is this true? Adaze lifted a stack of papers. These are copies of bank transfers, land documents, text messages. I gave everything to the journalist sitting over there. By tomorrow, your crimes will be in the news. Ngozi tried to run. The villagers blocked her. Obinna stepped forward, shaking. Why are you doing this? He asked. Adaze looked at him. Because you all thought I was weak, a poor girl with no family, a girl who came here for money. But I was watching. I was learning. She paused. I came for money, yes, but not by begging, not by hiding behind a man. Uncle Uche dropped to his knees. Please, he cried, don't destroy us. But it was too late. The police were already coming down the dusty road. She had called them before the meeting started. As the sirens grew louder, Adaze looked up at the sky. She had won. Later that evening, she stood alone in the compound. The air was quiet now. Muna came and stood beside her. You did it, Muna said softly. Adaze nodded. We did it. She handed Muna a set of keys. This house is ours now, but we won't stay here. We'll build something better. Muna smiled. Where will we go? Ades looked at the horizon. Lagos, Abuja, anywhere we want. We are free. She picked up her bag, a little brown book still in her hand. She turned once to look at the house behind her, the place where it all began. Then she walked away. And Umoko would never forget the bride who came for money, but left with power. If you found this story interesting, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.